accident to tell you about so far. And it's a minor accident and it's on Lady Young Road. Just not too far from the walkover. All right. So if that helps you a little bit. Of course, on the Eastern Main Road, not too bad through Dabadi, but through Tacarigua, Macoya, Page. Oh, what is that I'm seeing there? Yep. There's an accident on the Eastern Main Road, and this is where exactly, so I can tell you. It is between Page Main Road and Macoya Road, right in the middle. Right, that's where that accident is. Of course, heading towards St. Augustine, pretty busy. Mount Hope, heading straight towards Mova Junction, you've got traffic. Kelly Village, also, if you want to come out from Mouska Road South, you're going to get traffic this morning. I was looking at the cams a little while ago. Traffic, Rivulet Road, heading towards Point Lisas. San Fernando, lighter than usual. So is the creek. But getting onto the interchange, you got some rain, pouring rain, and slow going as you head northbound by the Carney Bird Sanctuary, all right? Pouring rain there, boy. Wow. It's raining in Trin City as well. Taking a look at the Betham, we're dry, but slow going through, okay? Champlain, dry, but not too bad as you head towards Eastern Main Road. And let's take a look at Cocorite. Yep, just the volume for those coming out to Diego Martin and out of the west. Of course, that flooding on Western Main Road in Carnage yesterday by Big Yard, by the fishing area there. And of course, they also had a landslide, which I hope has been cleared up now. All right, so that's a quick traffic update for you. Hope it helped you out in one way or the other. 13 minutes after the hour is 7 o'clock on this is the 17th day of November. 17th, wow. 39 days to Christmas, Richie Rich. 39 days to Christmas, Richie Rich. I'll say it one more time. 39 days to Christmas. Oops, hold on. I thought I stopped that. Why is it not playing? Yeah. Yes, Richie Rich.
Yes, Steve Khan.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I hit stop, but I didn't hit stop.
Yeah, well,
I thought, you know what, anyway.
Do we have any more votes?
No. No. Alan H., good morning to you.
All right, so our poll this morning is, do you agree with the court action brought by Karen Nunes to Sherry regarding the PNM internal election?
Mm-hmm.
We had 13 people voting in the allotted time. And of the 13 people, 7 said yes, 6 said no. It was pretty close. It was running neck and neck a lot of the times. So it was very, very much a split poll down the middle, basically, for a lot of the times that people were voting. So 7 said yes, 6 said no. So that's the result. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through all programming, and we'll give you the final result on tomorrow, which will be Friday. Because the weekend begins tonight, people, at the second after midnight. Believe it or not, it is already Thursday.
Yeah, boy. This month is just flying by, Rich. It is just flying by. I mean, 39 more days to Christmas. Wow. And then we go to Carnival and 2022 just come and gone. All right. Alan 8 says, on an inter-Caribbean travel, the routes designed for inbound tourists, not for CARICOM business and ID exchange travel. I guess Caribbean folks can stay in our home countries and build the region by Zoom and not by handshakes.
Yeah. I don't know why it's so difficult. And not only that, we are a country that, of course, we are countries that, of course, receive cruise ships with open arms.
Yeah, cruise ships coming in next week. The Royal Caribbean is coming in next week.
But we don't have, even by sea, we don't have those connections in terms of transporting people back and forth. I'm not talking about the traders who will be on boats trading in terms of goods.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about ferry services up the islands. We don't have.
Yeah.
We don't even have that.
No, I know there was talks about it, long years and years and years, but no, nothing.
Yeah, so it's but having to go to Miami and then go to another island, which means if you have to go to Miami to go to another island, it means you have to have a visa.
Yes.
So you have to.
If you want to come to Trinidad from wherever in the Caribbean,
So, which is crazy. So it
you
means
have to have
that
a
if-
U.S. visa.
so that if you want to travel throughout the intra-regional space, you have to have an American visa.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And government heads who like to have all of these talk shops, they're always talking. Talking for years now, since 1962. They're always talking. They can't figure that one out. They love a talk shop.
It's like a chicken.
They can't figure that one out. Seriously.
Yeah.
How Caribbean people can get to each other's space.
And then the price to travel in the Caribbean, sometimes it's cheaper to fly to Miami.
But Steve, you have to fly to Miami anyway.
Well, yeah, true. That's true. And flights for tickets are so expensive now.
And then they wonder why we're so insular.
Yeah. I went up on Google Flights and just picked some dates and chose 2 areas to fly to. And the prices would double to what it was 2 years ago. If you want to fly to St. Kitts from here, it's $1,200 US.
Because you
You
probably
want
have
to fly from New York to here for Christmas, it's over $1,000 US.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
But it's something that has to be.
It needs to be addressed.
They have to figure it out. I don't know what the solution is, because I get it that you want private enterprise to take that up, and obviously private enterprise either doesn't have the funds or doesn't see it as profitable, or sees it as too much of a risk. I don't know which one it is. And then the whole issue of the CSME and how easy is it for us to work within this one Caribbean space, depending on who you are. All of those things need to be made simpler and easier. Even the issue of coming back into Trinidad. You know what was interesting for me traveling this time, because of course, if you're a regular listener to this show, you know I don't travel as much as my other colleagues. And for me, you enter the United States, you go through immigration in the United States. Now there is nothing to fill out. You would have when you check in online with Caribbean Airlines or whichever airline, you would already have given all of your information, where you're staying, etc., in that check-in. So by the time you arrive in the United States, you have nothing to fill out. You're just in a line to go to the immigration officer. You go to the immigration officer, they ask whatever they need to ask you.
And there are a lot of immigration officers, not one or two.
Well, there's several, but what they do is they assess the crowd and they decide, at least that's what it seemed to me they were doing. Of course, I was on a red-eye flight, so we were kind of like the only flight, at least in that section, at that point, because it was like 5 o'clock in the morning or some time like that. And you go through the immigration officer, and then you collect your baggage and you just walk out.
Mm-hmm.
There was no visible customs officer to me. I don't know if they were randomly pulling people to the side. I didn't see it.
They usually do.
Well, I didn't see it. I'm just saying, in my experience, I didn't see it. It just looked like everybody just collected their baggage and left. On the return to Trinidad and Tobago, you have this slim long form, but people who travel, they will know what I'm talking about, that you have to fill out on the front and the back, asking citizens how long you spent abroad, which I, quite frankly, I don't know why that is any of the state's business. Because this is just a random form. This is not even a form connected to anything like the pandemic. This is just the random. This is just the normal bureaucratic form. So this is, as a returning resident, you in other words, you have to say, well, how long you stayed abroad, whatever. And then on the flip side, you have to say, no, if you're bringing in this, if you're bringing in ammunition, whatever. Then you go through immigration, which is fine. I mean, they didn't really ask you anything because you're a returning resident. Then you go wait for your baggage, and then you have to go through customs. And you either have to have your baggage scanned or you go through the green line. There is no way to simplify that process. The United States, who has arguably more of a, and not even arguably, in a city like New York, they have more of a threat from all manner of issues. You could have collected your baggage there and just walked straight the hell out onto the pavement. But in Trinidad, who has less of an issue, you still have to go through a grilling of sorts. Why? Why don't you have baggage scanners in the back, even if you just, before it comes outside for people to collect, if it is that you have that concern? And then what are people really bringing back that you have to be so vigilant? Beyond issues of drugs, which you could track and which is an intelligence-oriented process, what are people bringing back generally? The 99.9% of Trinidadians and Tobagonians coming back from abroad. What are they bringing back in the suitcase? What, sneakers? Clothes? Underwear? Chocolate? They buy alcohol duty free?
Yeah.
You're so vigilant on that you have to have this grilling and searching of people, but not searching, scanning of people's suitcases? Seriously? The state's so desperate to charge people if they buy Air Jordans? Why can't that process be even simpler, even if you put scanners in the back? So you scan everybody's suitcase before it comes out so that people just walk out.
Yeah.
The idea should be, how do we make this process as simple as possible? And how do we make this process that you should have the least amount of interfacing with anybody?
Mm-hmm.
That should be our objective. So that you make travel seamless. I remember years ago, I'm not even talking a month ago, I'm not talking 5 months ago, I'm talking about years ago. They talk about doing away with that form that I had to sign. Mm-hmm. Years ago, they talk about doing away with that form. They still have the form? Seriously, Trinidad?
Yeah. Years ago, we talking about postal codes. Over a decade for TT Post.
But there are postal codes. It's whether people want to use them or not.
You don't have to. I can't afford
TT Post for that.
Yeah, you don't have to. Still going.
People do.
But my greatest fear when I travel, and is because once I flew into Miami and my suitcase, the zippers were open like 8 inches. How am I to know that when I send my suitcase in at check-in, somebody goes and puts something in my suitcase?
Why don't you put a lock on it?
I do. I put locks on it now. TSA approved locks.
Yeah, because you have all the locks they sell now for suitcases are TSA approved.
Yeah.
They have the TSA red.
Who am I to say that some individual will go and put something in my suitcase, mark it with a piece of duct tape, tell his partner in baggage claim in baggage and wherever it's going, because for a black suitcase with duct tape on it, just open his zipper, he'll get anything right.
You're going to write that movie.
Yeah. No, but who does say when that happened to me? I call a officer and I said, listen, I just saw my suitcase, the zipper is open, I didn't touch anything. And he brought his sniffer dogs and he said there was nothing. And I said, okay, great. I said, okay, come.
But the greatest joke was when I'm returning, I had a hand luggage. They don't one of those small, a tiny suitcase. Not even the standard.
Rollers.
Not even the standard hand luggage size. I'm talking about even smaller than that.
Oh, geez.
So when I arrived in New York, when I'm at the counter in New York, the girl is saying, you can check that in for free because, check-in bags, you pay for now.
You have to pay a fee.
Yeah, you pay for now.
Mhm.
So I had a normal size suitcase that I had paid for to go in.
Mhm.
So that I had that hand luggage, but I was prepared to go with it. So she said, no, you can check it in for free. I said, you sure? She said, yes. So I was kind of hesitant. And then I'm thinking, do I have anything inside there? Because you're right. It's like something that anybody could just open.
Mhm.
And it, even though it's small and stuff like that. And I'm like, so I'm rapidly going through my mind. Is there anything inside there that it shouldn't really be going in the bag? Do I have my passport in there? Anything? I'm just rapidly going. But of course, by the time I'm rapidly going through that, the suitcase already gone. So, and then it struck me because I bought that small suitcase when I was in the US, and it struck me that I don't even know what the damn suitcase looks like. I have no identifying marks. I have no clue, and I didn't put any tag or anything because it was
always put a tag.
It was no, because I wasn't planning to send it in. I was going on the plane with it. I'm telling you, it's small.
Mhm.
Well, depending on what airline you travel on, they insist if you're traveling American, even if it's your hand luggage, like your briefcase, they make you put a tag on it. Because if anything what happens and you have to evacuate the plane in an emergency, they need to associate that with somebody traveling on the plane.
Right, but she put a tag on it, and of course, they stick the tag on your boarding pass.
Yeah.
The tag number, but still there is no identifying mark for me. So when we reach in Trinidad and there was a little delay, but you got your luggage, the luggage is going around, and I cannot for the life of me remember what the hell this small suitcase looked like. I know it's a small black suitcase, that's it. But it's small. And they take off the suitcases of the thing. And then, of course, you have the numbers on your boarding pass. So you can double check the numbers. But guess what? I left my boarding pass on the plane. So now I have no verification of the numbers to say, well, this is my suitcase. And so, of course, the big one is fine because you have labeled that, and I know that one. I had to scour and guess which one it was. And do you know what I had to do to check? I had to open it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying, I hope to God this is not somebody else's own, as I open it right there and flap it open to double check. Because I just couldn't remember the damn suitcase.
And that's why I buy strange color suitcases, and I always put a scarf or some piece of rubber something or something in my suitcase.
I use a little mesh thing from when you buy garlic and you get that mesh.
And actually, it's just to be able to grab it, quite frankly, when it comes up the conveyor belt, so that I see
exactly.
Quickly.
But you see, I didn't expect to check it in. That was my problem. So she was giving me the choice. She said, "Do you want to walk in? But we could check it in for free." And I was like, and the hesitancy, it went on its merry way.
The biggest concern for airlines is that overhead luggage compartment above your seat. So that's why they ask you to check it in. So it frees up to get some space. That'd be a big issue.
Yeah, so. But that was it. But that whole issue of still having to fill out a form, seriously? No.
Yeah,
no. We need to get rid of that.
And was there, before you went to customs, was there a big guy saying, how much money you bring back?
No.
Okay.
No, there was nothing like that.
Yeah, the
actual immigration process was was efficient enough. It wasn't like a line or a huge line. I still find that as a citizen, it should be quicker. In fact, it should be maybe, I don't know. You should just be showing your passport quickly to a scanner or something and entering straight.
Which is what I don't understand. Your passport is electronic, just like they scan it in the US. You should just go on the line and put it. And if there's a further query, you come out the line, they say, go to line B.
Exactly.
And once you scan it and it has your travel history, it will have immediate travel history anyway, because it's all internationally connected. You go through and get your suitcase.
Yep.
To ask you how long it to look at this form, this thing you fill out. It's so 1970s.
Get rid of the form.
And that's a stamp it when you can stamp it electronically. If there's a query, it will come up on the scanner and you will go to another line, you understand? or you start
I mean,
pulling up
I must
people.
admit that the immigration officers and the customs were all pleasant. They weren't.
They're always very pleasant as far as my experience. But I
Yeah, they
mean,
were
to me,
both pleasant. They weren't.
they try to follow this long form with, are you bringing back this and that? To me, you should understand that it should be part of your protocol. And they could also do that to take out everybody, randomly take up below the line. Particularly if you're returning national, I guess it's all national security now, given what the spate of terrorism in the world, you just don't know who is who. But you leave 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 4 days ago, and you come back. I mean, it's just very weird. And we're still going through all of this. And as you said, in the US, where arguably they have the biggest threats in the world, none of that. No form, you scan your passport, you take a picture and you walk through. It doesn't institute to pull you aside and deal with you in a different way, but generally they are about efficiency.
Yep. It's about making the process as seamless and as
Well,
easy
it's
for
the
you.
thing about it, they have to, because they would have backlogs for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not efficient, the number of people going into, for example, JFK or any of the major airports, they would have backlogs if they're not efficient. They can stop to look at a piece of paper all the time. The language reach out on the tarmac.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, you have to be efficient. And they have 100,000 more threats than us. So anyway, the numbers are
222-TALK, 222-8255, 612-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099. And of course, people on the web and the app, you can send your information there. Whatever it is, information. I see that, is this a breaking story, Paul, about the Jack Warner losing his extradition appeal?
Yeah. I'm not aware if he has any further options for appeal. But that's what I got a short while ago.
This is a Privy Council appeal.
Yeah.
I didn't even know whether you've kind of lost sight of that,
because it's on and off and gone and come back so
because it's been going on so long.
Yeah, exactly. It's been going on so long. I don't know if he has another appeal, but if that Privy Council, it usually means that that's it.
Wow. All right, we do have a call, John.
I could just read the conclusion in the Privy Council decision concerning Jack Warner. In light of the conclusions reached by the board on the issues raised by the appellant, the appeal must be dismissed. The cross appeal gives rise to constitutional issues about the relationship between the executive, the legislature, and the courts in Trinidad and Tobago. Since the appeal must in any event be dismissed, the board does not consider it necessary in this appeal to address those issues. That's the conclusion. I just went to the end of it. So what does that mean for Jack Warner? Maybe he'll have a press conference today, I guess.
I'll try and call him just now. Good morning.
Good morning. Richard, you were wondering about the filling out of these forms that the government promises not to fill out. I'll tell you something. That form, I have retired. I'm now resigned, and I find out the reason for that form. That form is to ask you how much passport you have when you go for your citizen's grant. Because they want to find out where you travel and how many times you stay, how long you stay. That's why they ask you how long you stay for your journey. So filling out those little pre-forms, the board and everything, that is for your citizen's grant when it comes to those who receive that. Right? So I think that because I had to go immigration and collect and with a letter for them to give, I traveled for 26 years and they wanted to see the 26 years. How long I went, where I stayed, how long I stayed, month to month, day to date.
Seriously?
Yes. Month to month, date to date. If you don't have that, you cannot get your citizen's grant. If you don't have that information, they say, well, you live in the United States and you were receiving gratuity there and whatnot, you have no proof. back home. So that is what those things are for, and that's why they don't have a procedure to get rid of it. They don't have a procedure to get it.
But they had indicated years ago that they were getting rid of that form, huh?
Yeah, they
Yes,
did.
they did. Yeah, but they haven't done so, and they wouldn't do it until they get something to identify how long your passport has been, used, where you go, how long you stayed, and if you stayed over a certain, I think 20 years, there was a certain amount of time. If you're out of the country more than 20 years, then you're not valid. Yeah, in month to month, date to date. That's part of the procedure because I went for my pension and I had to wait 4 years to get it. 4 years for them to validate that I was telling the truth. 4 years it took me to get my citizen grant. That's how difficult it is.
Wow.
That's the reason for those things.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks for that.
Not just a call. Good morning.
Given your
Good morning.
experience. Yeah,
Good morning.
Gentlemen, interesting conversation. A very, very interesting conversation. See, when all are going away now, all is had to buy U.S. black market.
I know a lot of people that buy in U.S. black market now.
Because when I go to go Barbados, they only want to give $500 in the bank.
You're lucky.
And
You're there. Just out of how to go to the bank.
That is not U.S., eh?
Oh, it's not. I went to the bank the other day and just out of kicks, I just said, I need to get 200 US. And she said, no, I can't get it. I could get $10. Last time I went, I did the same thing. They said I could get 20. Now they tell me I could only get $10. I said, what? Yeah,
That was
that's
my
a big thing now.
It has to be a big thing. You see, all these things, what we mentioned here, come back to leadership, The leader is the one who sets the tone and make the policies for things to move. You understand? And we get so comfortable in our own skin. You understand that we accept this, and every leader will come to do the same thing. You understand? So I was listening to all the conversation yesterday, and what struck me and what impressed me was the question that Wendell asked. After you say all these things and about the people who you're going to work with, well, that is the purpose of a leader, to make the hard choices and the necessary changes. If you ain't doing that, you're going to continue along the same vein the one before was going, and you're not no leader. You understand? So we need people now who will come and upset the apple cart and work with all of us. Well, enjoy all the day.
Yeah. The issue of getting U.S. cash, I'm not so sure how difficult it is.
Very.
No, when I went to the banks when I was traveling, I didn't really get any pushback. I don't find it wasn't difficult. I wasn't asking for much because I think the United States now, as Paul rightly said, the United States now, everything is card.
Yeah,
everything is card.
I know some banks, you could use your ATM card, your debit card, and go to the US at whatever bank it is and withdraw US dollars in the US with no fees.
Oh, well, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, with no fees.
But generally, everywhere you go in the United States now, it's either e-payment or cards. I mean, very few people use it now. You can pay cash too, of course. But the whole system is about e-payments, whether it be Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay. Of course, a lot of people it's Apple Pay and Google
Apple Pay is big.
And their phones or on their watches. And even in the subway, you could just tap your cards and pay. That's how you pay now. You don't have to buy the Metro card. They had another card called the Omni card, which is like a reloadable card, but it's a tap. Everything is tap and pay, tap and pay, tap and pay, or swipe here, swipe there, even taxis. So
it's pretty much a cashless.
Cash is not as super important to have to travel to the US.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Let's get this call. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Morning.
I am seeing Richard, and I'm not seeing Paul. I'm seeing Power 102 Digital under Paul Richards. Paul, where are you?
Paul, call it Paul. Paul.
She's watching us on YouTube, so she's
I'm
not
looking
seeing
at
us.
you all on YouTube.
Paul Richards, camera, please.
Yeah, you know, people
Camera
like to...
Paul, camera Paul. So,
Some people want to see your face, Paul.
I don't know why.
I no longer use my phone since I start watching you all on YouTube, you know. So,
Oh, okay.
Paul's face.
You find he's ugly?
What is him?
No.
Oh, behave, Stephen.
So, my son is studying in Jamaica, and when he was growing up, I couldn't get no money for him. I couldn't get any US. So we opened an account at a particular bank. Well, he has a bank account, but that one cannot give him sufficient money for him to utilize. And I opened a particular account for him, and he gets US, right? So that helps, right? But I find the bank, when they go directly into the bank, they tell him, first of all, he's not working, and he can't get any money. I can't take the money for him, which I find is so wrong. I said, but if he's a student, how he could work? I am paying for him, you know? I'm his mother. So I didn't get any money for him. So he opened an account in another bank, not my bank, another bank, and they were very helpful. They told him what he has to do and so on, and there are no charges when he withdraws money. So, which is very good.
So is it the normal Trinidad and Tobago debit card he's using in Jamaica?
No, he has a credit card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, but he doesn't have a problem now because I will just deposit money in that account and he gets it and he could use whatever and pay for whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Now, talking about flights to Caribbean islands, I was planning to go for Christmas. And that flight costing a pound and a crown.
I told you a flight's very expensive now.
It's not only Caribbean Airlines. JetBlue, that is usually between $2,500 and $3,500, is also now close to $5,000. Flights are very expensive this Christmas.
Copa seems to be the cheapest airline in all that, you know, to Kingston. But here what happened? Yeah, the flight leaves at 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with that.
Until it reach 1:10 a.m. because it has different. It stops. Well, first of all, it must stop in Panama, and from Panama to Kingston. That is one, and the other one making two stops: Panama, Miami, and then to Jamaica. You reach in 6 o'clock the next day.
Wow.
Yes, I find that is so.
It's a day traveling.
But it is so. I find it cheap because like 359 US. Sorry, 539 US. But still.
So what about New York?
To Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Oh, but that's very reasonable considering.
Right, but you have to go so many places before you reach there.
It's a bus ride.
Yeah. You're going for a plane ride.
I find Caribbean Airlines not doing themselves a favor because I personally like to travel to the Caribbean. I love the Caribbean. I prefer to go to the Caribbean and North America, and it looks like I always have to be going to North America because the Caribbean is so expensive to get a flight. You know, so they have to do something about that. I can't go again because this trip is too expensive.
And you know, there was a study done about 7 years ago, and it was the information was announced or presented at a Caribbean tourism conference, and the estimation was that if travel in the Caribbean were more efficient and more cost effective, the Caribbean tourism destinations wouldn't need North American or European visitors to all flourish.
That's correct. That's true.
Because people in the Caribbean would go to Grenada, Trinidad, they go to Grenada, Barbados, Jamaica, in such an efficient manner that you would opt for that more often than going to North America, Europe. Because very often I go to New York because it's cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't need a US visa to travel within. If you want to travel within the Caribbean, you get a US visa.
And they said the Caribbean tourism would flourish if we got it right. Inter-island travel.
I would be in the Caribbean 3 times per year, each of these islands.
Yeah.
But it is turning you off because You can't spend so much money, and then you have to pay for accommodation, all of that. One other point, and yesterday's interview, well, I didn't see it live. I watched it with Karen Mr. Shara.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where Mr. Shara is going with that, I don't belong to any political party, but I think she just wants to make some little, what would,
rock the boat a little bit.
Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Ooh,
yes,
boy.
but I don't think she has, as they say, a snowball chance in hell. She doesn't. And the chairman, Mr. Ken Butcher, I just don't understand them. What are they doing? I mean, it's good to challenge. I don't see no problem. You have to challenge. But challenge like how Penelope Beckles challenged. That was a good challenge, I find. But where's Mrs. Shara coming from? Where's Mr. Ken Butcher? We haven't heard, because I listen to news every day. I read newspapers. I have never heard Mr. Ken Butcher mention anything about PNA, because I never knew he was a PNA member.
Yeah.
Far less I want to be the chairman now.
But he was a member of the NR government back under NR Robinson.
He had won elections.
Yeah.
He was for Sour Barataria, I believe it was Sour Barataria at the time, right?
Yes, Sour Barataria, that's right. And he was Minister of Sport.
Remember that. And he was a sports person, I think, So, what do you feel is going to happen to him? By the way, where's the other person? There was another candidate for the political leader. I can't remember. Boynes, Mr. Boynes. Is he still in?
Good question.
That's a good one.
Candidate?
No clue.
Actually, I have no clue.
And I heard Mr. Montano said he's the best person for the political leader, Robert Montano, that is. They are crazy people. That ain't happening. So you all have a good day. And Paul, please, I'm watching the Power Breakfast show now. Put on your camera, please. Have a good day.
Put it on,
Bye.
Paul.
I don't want to get charged for illegal anything in my present state.
Shaka is saying all that hassle coming through the ports legally, but all the guns and the drugs passing freely. Sam says, Richard, I had a few party supplies I brought for a birthday party. He had a few. The woman charged him $40 US.
And that's my point. What is the big deal with citizens bringing back whatever in terms of things like that? I just don't see what's the big deal. Like you bringing back party supplies for a party, so what?
Exactly.
I can tell you what I think it is.
What it is?
I could tell you what I think it is, and I'll say it plainly. It is protecting a particular business class in Trinidad and Tobago and their profit lines.
Wow.
Because if you could go and bring stuff and you get this stuff a lot cheaper when you go and bring it yourself, not so?
Yeah.
So it's protecting their 300-400% markups in the store in Trinidad and Tobago.
You go in Dollar Tree and get everything you want.
You could buy a pair of jeans as an example for $20-25 US.
Yeah.
Right? And when you come here, you have to pay $600 TT for it. Does it translate? No, there's a 200% markup. So I think those restrictions and to protect the business class and their so-called investment in, and then when they buy it in bulk, they're not paying the 25 US, they're paying 10 and 15 US if so much per unit. So the markup is even more. But those restrictions and things like that, I mean, come on, Richard is right.
Yeah.
It's just I'm convinced it's to protect the business class.
An ardent listener is saying, as advanced as the US is, we want to know, ask Richard if he tap at the strip club.
Well, I didn't go to a strip club, but I did go to a couple of bars. And but I'm getting bars were either card or cash.
Yeah.
Paul, you wanted.
To answer your question, the APT James, it's not on dry dock, but a part is being changed on it. Sea trials will start tomorrow and should be back in service on Sunday, and they will send out an advisory come tomorrow. All right, so the APT James has a part change. So that's an issue with the ferry.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So ardent listener, you heard Richard. He answered you. All right. So it is 10 before 8 o'clock. Let's continue to take some of your calls. 222-8255, 612-8255. North Americans, you can call us at the toll-free number 866-525-1099. That's our numbers. It's directly into our studio. All right.
Is it my imagination, or
It is.
Are we having more days of rain this year than ever before?
Yeah, boy, we're really getting rain this year.
It's like every day there's almost every day there's rain.
Yeah, that flooding in Carnage yesterday with a landslide on Western
And
Main.
so I'm like, is this is my imagination? Has it been like this all the time? I don't think so.
Didn't rain in Barataria, Curep, but poured it out.
Like every day there's rain.
That rain just
Good
now.
morning.
Good morning, caller.
Hi, morning, guys. Morning.
Morning.
Concerning Mr. Chair's statement court appeal yesterday, that you mentioned yesterday. She is so correct. Isn't it the same CNN who circumvented our general election, couple elections ago by extending unconstitutionally the polling time by an hour? That was proven by the court to be wrong. So, similarly, based on what she explained to me, to us, so justifications are clear. It's clear you cannot change the constitution without taking procedures being. So, she's quite correct to have that court appeal. Secondly, yesterday, unfortunately, Wendell's biases were clear and consistent.
Whoa.
Now,
Didn't hear that at all. Yesterday, what? Sorry?
Wendell's biases were clear and outfront. He didn't raise his voice or anything, but his tone and the context of the questions asked, to me, were very aggressive. People don't realize, you don't want to shout to be aggressive, and your tone and context will also display such behavior. But I found her justification and reasoning to be fair. Competition is always.
I find it very hard to consider.
Yeah. All right, caller. Thank you.
In terms of, and I didn't get that Wendell was aggressive in terms of his tone yesterday at all. He may have been asking questions, and in terms of because Mrs. Teixeira is pretty combative, and I suppose when you don't stand down, well, on this Power Breakfast show, I suppose we're all combative if we need to be, but I didn't get the impression that Wendell was particularly aggressive in terms of his questioning yesterday.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That was not my impression.
Yeah. 7 minutes before the hour of 8 o'clock. 222-8255, 612-8255. North Americans, you can call us at 866-525-1099. Just a reminder of our morning poll, which is up on our platform via our mobile app and our website. Do you agree with the court action brought by Karen Nunes Teixeira regarding the PNM internal elections? That is our poll. It'll stay up until tomorrow morning, Friday, when I give you the final results. Good, did you hear excitement in my voice with Friday? I can't control that.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah,
That's not a day of the week.
I'm trying to say Friday. I can't say Friday. I just can't. Something is wrong. All right, so give us a call. 222-8255, 612-8255.
We're taking your calls as we head towards 8 a.m. 222-TALK, 222-8255. People in North America, 866-525-1099. People in other parts of the world, 1-868-222-TALK, 222-8255. Or you can use the messaging portal on the web or the app. But of course, we're live on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
One of the things that struck me also about the interview yesterday was, it's always interesting. Mrs. Teixeira said she didn't want to personalize the issues, but she has been pointedly personal regarding Dr. Rowley, and his leadership, which is an interesting juxtaposition.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm all for political parties' internal elections having challenges because it speaks and very often there's a really popular leader. If there's a popular leader involved, it's unlikely that he or she will be unseated. But I think it's good for the transparency and accountability of processes in the party, because if you're aspiring to lead again or lead, you have to show that your own systems are democratic.
Correct. Good morning.
Hi, honey. Good morning. I only calling to tell you good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
Morning,
Morning
Mrs.
to you.
Don't try to talk louder, Steve. Good morning, Mr. R, my darling.
Good morning. You know, Steve always trying his best, Mrs. R.
I don't know. She could also send you a voice note.
Yeah, well, why would I do that? I want to express my love publicly.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Steve. So while I am on my way here in traffic, I'm on traffic and traffic. Steve, I'm not playing enough Christmas songs though.
I begging him all morning.
Something please.
I begging him all morning. Then Jerry John Legend. Good morning.
I want to hear.
Stick to your deja ball. Stick to your deja ball.
I want to hear my favorite, which is Lennox Green.
There's so many beautiful Christmas songs you could play.
You know, as if I didn't play Christmas all day yesterday too.
When I was a little girl and I used to be underneath the tree and stuff. So that song, that brings back memories.
You can remember so far back?
No. Take your time, Banda. And not so far back at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm not taking much time from publicly professing my everything. I want you to hear me well, Dr. Richard. So, good morning, my darling. Full stop, not plural. And all of you all, however, have a good day.
Right, Mrs. R.
Bye-bye.
Adios. 222-8255, 612-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. All right. That's our numbers directly into our studio. Of course, vote on our morning poll. Coming up at 9 o'clock, you have Sir Charles. He'll be in, all right, to take you through your mid-mornings. And don't forget, this afternoon, we have Richard Norrie and David McIntyre on your afternoon power drive. And I think that their co-host this afternoon will be Michaela Pandy. All right, she'll join them right here on Power 102 Digital.
But it's amazing how you meet Trinidadians wherever you go, because even in Pennsylvania, which is not necessarily, especially where I was, which is a small town, so it's not necessarily going to be a haunt of Trinidadian or the Trinidadian diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just randomly in a store in a mall in some area, and we're in a shoe store, and my sister was talking to me, and there was a girl next to us, and she turned and she said, "What accent is that? Are you from Trinidad?" And we said, "Yes." And she said, "I'm from Trinidad," and she was from Dabadie, right next to Rima. How coincidental is that? And then I went into this. Well, of course, in New York, you're more likely to meet somebody than in Pennsylvania. But in New York, I was in this coffee shop that stopped for 4, and I was waiting at a table, and then I just found it was taking too long, so I went and I bought my stuff to take the table. So I just told the cashier, "I'm just tired of waiting, so I just want to get a coffee and whatever." And she said, "You're from Trinidad? Which part of Trinidad you're from?" And I said, "You know Trinidad?" She said, "Yes, I'm from Trinidad too." And so I said Arima, and she was from La Joqueta. I said, "Well, okay, but that's like Arima, basically. It's the outskirts of Arima." So what are the chances you're meeting people so close to where you live?
Yeah, they're treating us everywhere.
Yeah. And there are a lot of Americans too that recognize your
Trinidad accent, yes.
Yeah. They recognize that you're from Trinidad. Especially in New York. I suppose they are accustomed.
Yeah, they have accents all
What I like about New Yorkers too, and I must say this to New Yorkers who are listening, is that they're always, at least my experience is that they were always quick to help in terms of directions. Because of course, I am direction challenged in a normal way. And And of course, when you don't know a city, you have to ask people sometimes. And everybody that I asked was so forthcoming with information. They were so friendly. They were so easy, to speak with. That's what I would say about New York. You didn't get any, nobody passed you straight and didn't want to hear what you had to say. No, they stopped and they tried to assist. In fact, one day I was standing up coming out of the subway, and I was kind of confused which exit to take. And this old man, Jewish man, with the hat, came up to me and said, "You look a little confused, sir. How can I help?" I told him where I was going, and he pointed me in the right direction.
There you go. All right. And let's get into our news brief. Thank you for those that watched us on YouTube. We do it every day. Tomorrow you can join us on our YouTube channel. You just have to go and on the chat on YouTube and follow the Zoom link. Just click on the Zoom link and you can join the convo. Let's get into our news brief, all courtesy Champlain Auto Services.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
The Ministry of Health has reported 6 additional COVID-19 deaths